What's good, fam? Welcome to Subs Over Dubs Anime Podcast, episode 12. My name is Vision,
And I'm Rebel.
and let's talk about what we did today. So, we've been kind of waiting on this for a while. Hit up Houston's Anime Fan Weekend.
Yes,
Jeez, it took
sir.
a while to remember that name.
Formerly known as Anime Fest, right?
Yeah, Anime Fest. Yeah, because that one's upcoming's Anime Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed
Good
our
weekend.
conversations with some of our guests. They had some very intriguing points.
What's one anime, in your opinion, that's going on right now that's overrated or that's popular?
One Piece.
A lot of people out there holding it down for the mid piece. So shout out to that. And I don't know the count on the sub or dub. I think it was kind of split.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
pretty
one
split.
way a little bit, but
Yeah, it was probably like a 55-45 split. It was pretty even, but fun weekend. We were there Saturday and Sunday. So if y'all were there, shout out. It was cool. It was cool.
yeah,
Nice.
it was definitely a good time. And I'll throw a little clip in right here to show you kind of what we went through. But
Rebel. Now,
Yes.
I have a couple questions for you guys. So it's apparent for you, but are you a One Piece fan?
Yes.
Are you a One Piece fan?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite anime, if not One Piece?
If not One Piece,
Yeah, or if it's One Piece, let me know.
One Piece.
One Piece?
One Piece.
One Piece. There we go. All right, so here's my question that we've been debating on our podcast for weeks. Why do you watch One Piece? Why?
Why not?
Why not? The world building, too good.
Okay.
It
The
is
women.
a whole universe
The
of its.
women.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you watching it just to finish it? Because you're like, I've already invested so much time, I need to see the end, I need to see what the One Piece is? Or do you just genuinely enjoy the journey?
I enjoy watching every single episode when I am down. That is the reason I take my time. I'm 900 episodes in, but I take my time for that reason.
I rewatch it. It's that good.
Real.
How many times have you rewatched it?
I've watched it once, and now I'm like 50 episodes back again.
So that's commitment, right? All right, so my last question for you guys is gonna be, is it sub or is it dub?
So
The dub is not bad, but sub. This sub.
Overall
This
anime.
sub.
Overall.
Sub,
Overall.
sub, sub,
Sub?
sub, sub,
Sub? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much.
yeah, good time. Definitely check it out if you can next year, or check out Anime Versus coming out. We'll be there as well. So if you see
That'll
us,
be March
let us know,
10th
man.
to 12th in Pasadena.
Yeah, let us know if you wanna, hop in the vid. We love the opportunity to talk to people in the streets and get their takes on, what's really anime. Is it
What's
really
the
sub
real?
or is it dub? One
Yes,
thing I
sir.
will bring up though, going to that, and we can talk about a little bit. Man, we definitely felt some heat coming from the voice actors this
sure.
time. Seeing my boy John Grimion out there. Shout out to you, man.
Shout out John, man. He's
Yeah.
always a realist, always holding it down, always like real respectful and type of dude who just like always hears us out. Even
Yeah.
if our brand name and things like that seem offensive, he always took he took the time to listen to us, and it's like it's not that. It's just kind of like
Yeah,
we wanted to just have fun, and obviously like to your point, you don't have dub without sub, but we still respect the dub, and it's a bridge way to.
I always say I respect some dubs, but I respect the actors who do the dub voice.
For
Like,
sure,
I
and-
don't.
And to me, I mean, like, I love dub because it's, like
Yeah.
we always talk about it. It's the dub will lead people into the sub, so.
Or just lead them into anime in
Yeah,
general.
get 'em
Like
into anime for
at the end
sure,
of the
and-
day, like in a way, anime wins. So it's just like, well, there's a couple. We were in line to see a voice actor that we wanted to see, work with and get a shout out with and commission. And while we're waiting in line, we get kind of wasn't super hostile, but it was just like
You felt the negativity.
it was
for
an
sure.
unnecessary comment, and they're like, got to the point where like we should kick you out of the line, and then ha 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 laugh it off. And it's just like, even if it was a joke, it just didn't. It felt
Yeah, for sure.
we felt the
but
energy.
You have to understand at the same time, like when we're branding ourselves with like a statement,
Mhm.
and we're meant to be controversial. We have to. I think, in my opinion, we have to be able to bear that because of how.
Let me respond to that. So, but there's a difference though. It's subs over dubs.
Yeah.
and it's not subs, no dubs. You know what I'm saying? We still like we might place it above, but
For
we
sure.
don't. It's not excluded. We don't say don't do dubs or anything. In that situation, based how it was presented, it's just like okay,
I mean, I
don't mess
understand,
with
but
us at all.
but like I can see where the miscommunication, the misinformation starts. Like when we talked about originally making the podcast, it was between subs over dubs, or are we gonna do subs or dubs? And that's why I was leaning towards the or, because then that's like an open-ended question, like, hey, let's have a discussion about it. Versus when we talk about subs over dubs, we're making a statement.
It's a question that we can have a conversation.
But it's not so much of a question. It's a blanket statement we're making, and then we're asking other people to defend the other side. You know. You see what I'm saying? Instead of leaving it as an open, that's why what I like at the end when we do our things, is it sub or dub? That's why I was leaning towards more that. But I think when we brand ourselves in this aspect, I do have to respect the fact that if some people do feel some type of way about it.
But you don't go that far. Think about this though, just from a business perspective. We could have potentially, commissioned them for something, right? And they told us to leave. So it's like, even as a joke, like it, and it
No,
did,
that's
and
fair.
again, like you said, it wasn't just like it didn't come off as the energy was.
I felt the negativity for sure.
Like-
and we had people there that like when I first walked in and you were already sitting at the panel,
you're talking.
there were some people that were like, oh, do you see his shirt? It says subs over dubs. It's really cool. Like, they were questioning it, and I was like, and I think we have to take the good and the bad with that. Like, I didn't respect the way that he went about it, right? Like, some people can be like, and we had other guests there that were like, hey, we don't like your shirt because of XYZ.
That's
But
perfect.
They stopped us. We had a conversation.
we have a
We were
conversation.
explaining it, but I think that it also can come off in a negative connotation because we are making that blanket statement that, hey, subs are over dubs, and then we're the ones being like, if so, why not? You see what I'm saying? But that individual, which was crazy because he wasn't even a voice actor. It was like the voice actors, I guess he was in charge of the money or whatever. And that's where I was just like, I'm literally trying to put money in your pocket to get a shout out. In my opinion, not that it's like overpriced, but like for the amount of money that you were asking, like I'm expecting at least some kind of cordial or give me a minute of your time to explain myself.
Just have a conversation. Like,
but that guy was.
Everyone's fine to be opinionated, and
But, I'm just gonna say this. To me, I'm gonna throw out a shout out to all the dub actors. To your point, it has to be tough to kind of try to follow suit. Like when you have a character in sub that's really well known and liked, and then to try to replicate that for an American fan base, that there's gonna come controversy. So shout out to the dub actors. Shout out John Grimion, and shout out R. Bruce Elliott.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Bruce, man. It was kind enough to work with us when they don't have to.
He did, yeah. He asked us about it. He asked us. He wanted to make sure the same thing John did. That it wasn't something that we were trying to just.
Yeah,
we
we're
didn't want it to be in a negative connotation, and we explained to him, it's just like a debate, a conversation, and we try to make it as an attention grabber, and he was on board, really nice, really cool to talk to,
and work
he
with
gave
us.
us a freeze-dried ice cream.
yeah. I
I mean, like,
shout out
those
to
are the people that you love to work
and
with.
that's also about like he just like John and then Bruce, he sees the shirt, he asks follow-up questions, and it's just a
Sure.
conversation, and versus just saying looking at us, judging us, and then say go as far as like, hey, you basically
Yeah,
throwing
so
jokes.
I don't
You
even
should
think he said we should kick you out the line. I think he was saying kick us out of the actual convention. And I'm like, because I don't think he said line. He's like, I think we should just kick him out right now. And I was like, and then like once I guess he saw that we were serious, he was like, oh, I'm just kidding. And I was like, oh, were you though? Which is fine, but like, let's talk about it. Don't like try to kick us out and not hear our side of the story. But I mean, I get how this statement can come off to some people because at the end of the day, that's how they make their money. So if we're sliding dub actors,
and
we're basically saying
I think
they shouldn't have a job.
But I think as a professional, just like you've seen some of the other VAs, you have like, hey, what's this about? The first thing John did, is this a drama channel? And in a way, it kind of is, but it isn't the negative. Like, we're not like just taking a dub actor to shout us out and then ripping them down and just like talking down.
That's
Like
fair.
it's a big difference.
It's more so about the anime content in itself and then we talk about
We
then
we talk
have
about
that
sub versus dub aspects, but
include
but
with
this
it,
isn't a hit piece. Like we're not gonna have someone shout us out
and then just
and
like
then just
talk mess about,
destroy,
yeah. That's
just
fair.
destroy
That's
this
fair.
character. Like that's not cool.
I can see the hesitancy though, when they do see it and they're like, I don't know, because then
Of course,
I can, but
like
we do respect actors that do ask us, and then they do give us some of their time. Like obviously they're, I wouldn't say like to go as far as celebrities, but they are important people, right? Especially in that community, those are the type of people that we respect. So them giving us 5 or 10 minutes of their time is
just kick it, ask some questions.
That, so shout out everybody at Houston's Anime Fan Weekend.
And like I don't expect that to be our last or even our worst like interaction with maybe a person, but I'm just saying like I just look at it, even regular people, they might have been opinionated on our shirts. Oh, I don't know about those shirts, subs over dubs, really, which is cool. Like that's it is what it is. But and then a lot of them had a follow-up conversation. Well, this is why I think X,
sure.
Y, Z. So, and that's at the end of the day, that's what the name is supposed to do. We're just trying to create conversation, and unfortunately, sometimes you have to be controversy. And like you mentioned, I'm willing to accept the negative that comes with it, but just in that situation where obviously he might we can't even say he didn't know what we were in line for, because didn't you ask before he said that, or no?
No. We were just in line, and I was waiting, and then I saw the prices. But then, like, as I was like, once he made that comment, that's when I started to doubt if I even wanted to do it.
Yeah, because it's just
shifted
shifted energy.
The voice actor. One thing I did have, and we're not going to talk about which voice actors or who, but there was another voice actor where, I had a friend there. He showed up and he went to get his he had a Funko Pop. He wanted to get a signature from this voice actor, and one of the feedbacks he gave me was, he was like, I paid this guy XYZ, and he didn't really like say hi.
He didn't even acknowledge.
He didn't acknowledge my existence. He just grabbed it, looked down, signed it. Here you go. And it's like, what we're looking for, especially for the people who are spending their hard-earned money. Like, yeah, it's only $40 to get in for the weekend, but then it's like you're paying for this and gas and expenses and food. People are spending their hard-earned money, and they're wanting this interaction with people that we look up to these guys. Whether you're a sub watcher or a dub watcher, when I go to these conventions, there's gonna be dub actors that I enjoy, and if I'm going in there and I'm spending, even if you're like, I'm only spending $30, $40 for an autograph, that's hard-earned money. You can give somebody at least a minute of your time.
You can. Not even a minute. Like that's
I didn't like.
Yeah, it's like 10 seconds. I mean, obviously he's not, obligated, but in a way, it's just like you won't even acknowledge the fans that are supporting you and like are fans of you. Like what kind of
I don't even think like, and I get it. Sometimes like voice actors might be like, and it's not just like a sub thing or a dub thing, but just in general, voice actors might be like, hey, I have to sit here and like, let's just say, be all might all day, right? Mm-hmm. It gets tiring, so I understand that. But
it's not free. They didn't. It's not like he walked up and got a free signature.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? He paid for it.
Like I'm the type of person that I'm understanding. I don't want somebody to be like, hey, say this in this voice, because I know that one, it's strenuous to your voice and you're doing it all day. But like, just a simple, hello, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. Something, just that's it. That's all I think.
Yeah, you just need to acknowledge them.
That's what but like, just taking it, signing it, here you go, next. Like,
yeah, not looking up.
Because people are like, they have a, and I guess it is expectation, because I'm like, if I'm paying money to do something, I have the expectation that I want to meet these people,
Yeah,
that's why I love people like John. Like, John doesn't mind sitting there and just having a conversation. And it's like, that's the people we look up to. Like, when you're embodying these characters, unfortunately, it comes with the responsibility of being that, I guess, in a sense, a role model, right? Like, if we're looking up to these characters, we want to talk to the voices behind them because they made that character.
Yeah, and it goes
reality,
both.
I guess you could say.
And like, we don't know the person's situation, like, and that's
true.
That's another reason why we're not gonna sit here and name shout, name drop. But it's just like, at the same time, it's like, okay, at one end you gotta be professional, right? And two, if you're gonna charge some of these prices, I mean, they're upwards of $20 just for a signature. And what by no means am I saying is that high or is it low, but that's a significant amount for a 10-second interaction. So you. Not even saying anything, you can at least look the person in the eyes and
especially if it's kids too. Like, my thing is, like, when I go to basketball games, like, I try to get in where the tunnels are, and I love seeing, like, I'm a big Spurs fan. I go to see the Spurs, and they're in Houston, and like they're all just dapping up the kids and things like that. And it's just like, it's about the experience. You're paying to see an experience. And, to these people, 20, 40, 60, $100 might not be a lot, but the experience to me is worth a minute.
I think
2
that's
minutes.
analogy just a little bit harder because when it comes to NBA and just you're paying
No,
for the
no, I'm just
game,
saying-
not
I'm saying if they're in the
interaction.
middle of a game and they can do that, then
I
if
mean,
I'm
yeah,
paying for
that's
a
great.
face-to-face
Yeah.
interaction, I can at least get a second, 10
Yeah,
seconds. Hello.
And that's all I'm saying for like the VAs, man. Like you can at least look the person in the face, handshake. You don't even say that. Like thank
But I
you.
think I mean, to be fair though, we've done a lot of cons, and you and I go to Anime Matsuri. That was probably the first time that's ever happened though. That
True.
I'm aware of, because like
True.
we've met a lot of voice actors, we've talked to a lot of people, talked to cosplayers, people in like the booths, and I think that's so. And like I said, it could be one of those one-off situations where
True.
maybe
It's a bad day.
he or she was sick or a bad day or just not feeling well. I get that, but we just got to keep it in the back of their minds that it's like, especially if you're a dub watcher, we
Well,
look up to these people.
I just look at it like if you came to work, you gotta work. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty.
Yeah.
We both worked at retail plenty of times. There's plenty of times we don't want to deal with people, but we at least give them the decency. Okay,
For
I'm
sure.
gonna acknowledge you. I'm gonna hear you out,
For
and
sure.
until you get to a person. Certain limit of disrespect, then it's like okay,
Oh, yeah, for
then
sure.
that could probably come out. But like in these situations, man, $40 in 10 seconds, $20, bro, that's super quick for just a handshake. Thank you,
sure.
thank you. I appreciate your again, like you said, you don't necessarily always have to bring out the voice, but just saying, hey, I appreciate you supporting me. Thank you for being a fan. That's nothing, right?
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
And I get it, and that's why it's so hard for me to speak on that, because this individual's line was super long. So I get it, after maybe 3-4 hours of doing it, but it's just like,
but there's so many, bro.
yeah, I understand. No, I get it. It's like, my thing is like, I don't want it to sound like a slight. Like, I don't want to sit here and be like, what you did was wrong, because like I said, it was a one-off situation. We've met plenty of voice actors, and that's never happened. So, it's just one of those things that like kind of bummed me out hearing about it, because I didn't even meet the individual.
Yeah.
But like just knowing that like my friend was like super excited, found out this individual was gonna be here. Like literally, my friend was at the convention for an hour solely to just get this person's signature and then walk around maybe once.
This is a bad experience, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, that's just kind of one of those things where it kind of like hurt me as like an you want to vouch for like the whole anime community. We would think we'd be better than that, but that situation was a little unfortunate, and maybe other people didn't get the experience he did. But just knowing someone who like he built up the excitement in his head, he was ready to see him, and it just didn't happen. That kind of sucked.
I mean, I just feel like as a professional, 5-second interaction, man, for the amount of money, like
Yeah.
everyone can do is free to like, do their business as they please, But I feel
Sure.
like we have the same right to have an opinion on, what we feel,
I agree.
So I mean, again, it could be just a bad day. It's our first interaction that was kind of in a negative light, and
sure.
seeing or / hearing a negative interaction. So we'll kind of just keep it in the books. But hey, guys, let us know in the comments, man. How have your interactions with these voice actors been? I mean, ours typically, like you said, 90% of the time have been
Yeah.
pleasant. Up until this time, we didn't have a necessarily good interaction, and our friend didn't. So yeah, man, things happen. No one's
sure.
perfect, but it's something that we all can work on. We can probably do better as far as how we react to things and
For sure.
what we just talked about. But let's get into the anime. So, man, let's start off with at the top of the show, My Hero, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I posted a tweet. I think it was kind of the most complete episode we've seen in a while. We got to see a lot of good action. I feel it was some good story and plot in there. Let's start from the action though, man. Deku.
That
I
was
like
cold.
how he's stringing his abilities together all at once.
What's crazy is, didn't they say that he shouldn't do that? Like
Yeah,
using
I
them in
think
parallels.
it was. Yeah, it was.
And he's like, "You sure about that, bro?" And then he's making it work. And I think what really makes him a great character is like the amount of like studying.
Yeah,
and how methodical
all
he was
his analytics.
before he had
Mhm.
the powers. So now he's like, I have all these quirks, and because I have them, I can use them in conjunction. It's like the only, in my opinion, if anybody else had that quirk, it wouldn't be as good, even at 45%. A lot of it has to do with his strategies and his mindset. Like he's cold blooded. He's really methodical about how he does everything, and I think that's why he continues to succeed.
Yeah, because I think there's only been, I think to this point, off the top of my head, I think 4 quirk users that used multiple. We have Deku at this point, the person who was fighting, Todoroki, and then All for One.
All for One.
Yeah, there's the only people
Well, and
that.
Shigaraki, but they're kind of the same person, really.
Yeah, this is true.
But it's like All for One was.
Yeah.
Gave it
So maybe let's just say 5, but in general, like it's not you.
common.
It's not common. Then on top of that, he's using more than just 2. I was just naming characters that I think we've only seen 2.
2.
I think Shigaraki may have done more than 2, and then All for One more than 2.
yeah.
But like in general, everyone else has just been 2. So it was super fly to see him combine all his different
Keep
abilities.
switching and then his reasoning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using
I
it
love his no
gas.
hesitation. Like, you would think after everything Overhaul did, like, he would just let him get blasted, you know?
Whoa.
Pause. But, you know, like, he has the bullet and, you know, like, I don't know, I might not be a good person, but, like, if you cause all this damage, especially to, like, to Eri, and then you're like, oh, she's gonna shoot Overhaul? Whatever. But he, like, made his decision, didn't go back on it. Like, he was able to save everyone, and almost. But that was just, like,
Well, I
I
think.
like that he doesn't hesitate.
Well, I will say. Well, it's a little bit different. But I'll say this. I was confused in the beginning because I thought part of the deal with how you say Shigaraki, that she would off him to see his pops. I thought that's what he meant, to see his pops. I thought he wanted to get sent to. I mean, technically, he's not gonna get sent to heaven, and based on what we
I
know.
thought the pops was dead too. I thought
Yeah,
the same
that's
thing.
what I'm
I thought
saying.
He's like, bro, like, I'm
Yeah,
ready to
work.
go.
Yeah, ready. That's what I'm saying. So, it maybe I don't know. They didn't technically
They didn't
confirm that,
verify, they didn't
but
validate.
Deku said he'll do it for him. So I don't know if he's
If he's
that.
like, I got you, bro, I'll blick you up, or
Yeah.
if PG's like
Yeah, actually, yeah.
fighting him. Yeah,
But-
I was confused about that too.
But it was also dope that Deku kind of explained, like, I knew when you shot at Shigaraki, I don't think it was overall. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It
was a
wasn't
little bit
fatal,
to the,
right?
like,
Yeah.
it was like a little. To
Because
the
he
left or
explained
something.
it, like he was like, if
Yeah.
you really would
I-
have, you would have shot me and all this.
What I like is to your point, like the episode had everything. Like it had, you know, good story, good fight, like, and then it even had enough time to like give that moment with what was her name?
The assassin, I
Yeah,
forgot her name as well.
No.
But yeah,
Forget what it's
it gave
called.
her a
I forget what it is, but
background.
yeah, they were able to give background. I mean, they touched on it perfectly, and it didn't feel like it was too much or too little.
It was,
Like,
it was
just
a
enough.
perfectly
Yeah, for
wound
sure.
episode. You got action,
For sure.
backstory, character development. They even intertwined how Hawks became the next. Basically,
Oh, yeah, I was like,
I didn't
I
even-
was like, that makes sense.
yeah, I didn't even think about that until like, you know, she said it. Like they put me through this and they had me do all these things for basically make the good guys shine. But
For the better
are
of
we
the good,
gonna
yeah.
talk about what really happens? Like, it was kind of, it's sad to see that person got pushed to that point because all they wanted to do was do good and be a hero.
For
They thought they
sure.
were making a change, but at the end of the day, they were just using her to do the dirty deeds, and it overwhelmed her to the point where, you know, she kind of just turned, I guess we could
So,
say.
She didn't die, right? Or it's not.
Well, we don't know. I
She-
mean, she
she
got word.
exploded.
I don't know how she's in one bodily piece after
Facts.
explosion, but I guess
That'd be cool to see her like recover and then kind of try to help them. But hey, man, Deku's starting to develop his talk no jutsu. You know, talk him off the ledge. Right? You don't have to do this.
yeah. I mean,
Shonen Jump
I'm
work.
mixed feeling. I don't really like. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, some people just gotta die. Unfortunately, whether it be her,
Shigaraki.
you know, whether it be a Kiyomon a long time ago, you know, hell,
That's fair.
throw some other people in there at the cast.
That's
Just
fair.
Get rid of them.
Oh, real fast. I actually forgot. Before we move on to the next, I have those polls for you from the last podcast.
Which one?
So I'll tell you.
Okay.
All right. So let's see how to switch gears here. I didn't want to go through the whole pod and then forget. So on the last podcast, we talked about a couple different things. I had a little funny post. There was a poll if Brooke was the GOAT. It was a 100% yes. So
How many votes?
we don't need to worry about that. It was one vote, but it was 100%. All right, so we did a poll. Why do you watch One Piece?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a 27% gotta see the ending, and 73% are just enjoying the ride.
And see, we got a lot of those same answers in our in the streets at the convention episode. Check that out. But I think that it makes sense. And a lot of them admitted, I would say the split was probably like 40-60, that the people
Yeah.
are just watching it because they already invested so much time.
That's fair.
And I try to tell you guys.
We'll add it up. I'll add the little ding, 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 ding in the video. The next one was, should Rebel watch Bleach in sub or in dub?
Mhm.
With a 61% saying sub. So I will be watching that in sub.
And I think the big reason is because the whole Bankai situation.
I remember us talking about that off air.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you know,
I watched it in dub, to be honest.
you did.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was Adult Swim.
if I can get into it, you know, I don't mind going back and rewatching it, but I'll definitely start watching it in sub starting tomorrow, and then I'll just
What's
give
the
you,
end date?
we'll just give updates. Let's try to run it in. You think I can finish it in a month? In 4 weeks, or I would need
I would say it'd be your best to try to finish in a month. That way you can ride
onto
it to
the
next
side.
season.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna try to watch it. I'm gonna just try to binge watch it. Give it a month. I'm just gonna try to skip all the filler as much as it.
course.
Not much filler.
I would say just like it's not as, I don't know if as much as Naruto. It has a decent amount. Like I said, it has a whole arc of filler.
I'll just
I'll
go
get
to
the
main
watch
arc.
order for you on Reddit.
Yeah, we'll
Someone,
do that, and we'll just crash that. That way I can watch the 1,000-Year Blood War, and then
Yeah.
we can be current, and we can talk about that.
yeah, you're
on a
gonna have to
week-to-week
you're gonna have to
basis.
hustle some episodes because
Yeah, I'm
That-
behind a little bit. The last poll I did, to your point, was should Kinemon have and his crew gotten unalived? So there was a
worked.
there was a total of 30 votes, and 59% said yes. They
Yeah.
should have killed him off. So to your point, you were right. You know, I think it would have been a little bit more impactful.
Of
And
course.
that would have given not only Luffy and his crew more of like a reason to fight, but I think that when we were talking about it off air, I was thinking about it after we recorded that pod, and I was like, that would have given Momonosuke a more of a reason to stop crying, stop. He
Yeah,
would have
like-
had to have been like, how many more people have to die until like do something about it?
That's all I'm
So,
saying.
You know, I agree. I take back what I said. I do agree with it. That would have been more impactful, and I think that would have led it. However, the only like controversy or like reason I wouldn't is because then I feel like it would be the Momonosuke show, where he would feel like I have to take the burden of beating Kaido because he killed off Kinemon and the crew.
I don't even think that would be the case. It would just be like less of his whiny self and be like, I have
Just
to
do
be the
something to
leader.
end this,
I
yeah.
can no longer hesitate in what I
For
need
sure.
to do. Like obviously he's not gonna beat Kaido. He's not strong.
sure.
He turned into a dragon. Okay, now what? So, but just the whole like hesitation all the time. I don't think, and he's constantly crying about everyone getting hurt because of him, but he's still doing the same things.
Well, we could take this part and move it into One Piece. Were you able to watch that last episode? Oh, you said.
Yeah, no.
Well, I'll
go
give you a
ahead.
quick recap. A lot of that, what you're talking about, ends. He's not able to physically do what needs to be done. So what he's trying to stop the island from
Mhm.
dropping onto the capital. And now he's just like, I gotta do it. There's a little bit of that, man, I can't do it, but now he's thinking like, bro, if I don't do this, these people are gonna die, innocent people are gonna die. So one way or another, I gotta figure it out. So there is hesitancy, but you see where he's starting to lean
This-
towards like, I ain't got no
Yeah.
choice. So I think in those upcoming episodes, you're gonna see more of what you're wanting out of him, and the whole reason why he was able to he made himself transform into what his age
Older.
is supposed to be. Yeah. So I mean that
Time
was cool.
skip.
Yeah, there wasn't too much going on in One Piece of this episode, except for the last 5 minutes where Sanji's mutation started. Yeah. So
Sounds about One Piece. Sounds about One
isn't it
Piece to
about
me.
the build up so that when you get the grand orchestra at the end, you're just like music to my ears.
It was a funny thing when I was asking the question. So I asked a lot of, people we interviewed, do they watch One Piece? Why do they watch One Piece? And I was curious to hear their answers on, that very thing.
For sure. Luckily, we had quite a few of them, maybe like 4 or 5 people, right?
Yeah.
Out of the,
I think a little bit more than that. They gave a little bit more like
we did
details.
what, like 10, 12 interviews, right?
About 10, 12,
Yeah.
depending on who makes the cut. But yeah, it's interesting to hear people's reasoning for continuing to watch the show
For sure.
or why they watch the show, because obviously we could say what we do and don't like. I didn't like some people's answers because they just said because they like it. And it's like, well, that's not really, tell us why. But then some people say, oh, it's so, and it's, I think in my back of my mind, it's like, it's so jam packed with action and so much to do. And I'm thinking to myself, I literally just watched 20 episodes and there was a lot of just wasted time.
But let me ask you this though, when you like to counteract what you're saying is, why is it that we give breaks to other animes that maybe they get released for 24 episodes, right? And then we'll get 12 episodes of build up and then 12 episodes of action, hold off for a year and do it again. Why do they get a break, but the animes that are running year round do not, right? Because they're released on a weekly basis.
Let me give you. There's this mix because I understand why One Piece drags things out because, like you just mentioned, they do it year round. But in that same breath, I don't see how anyone can hold it to being the Holy Grail or the best, even of the big three for that reason. And one of those guests gave a good explanation. I did not think about the technicalities. When you see Naruto and, like you said, when they're fighting versus One Piece, depending on who you're watching fighting, it's just like you see a whole bunch of arms coming out of nowhere. There's not really like a fight sequence versus like Naruto. You see a lot of actual hand-to-hand combat.
The problem with Naruto though, again, is you take those fight scenes, bro, and they just replicate them. So Naruto and Sasuke's last fight is the exact same fight that they have in Boruto. And it's the same one they have in
Boruto or Naruto?
Naruto. So they take the same Naruto and Sasuke like Wing Chun thing, and they've already just reanimated it. This exact same fight, same everything.
I think that was part of the reason, like, because you're right. They show some of the sequences in them even standing on top of the Hokage waterfall. It was supposed to be in some ways a reenactment, like they're older, but they're still throwing the same way. There's like
that part was fine when Naruto and Sasuke were doing that. But then you get to Boruto and they're fighting I forget one of the.
Oh, we're comparing. Boy, I just realized you're comparing
they're
Boruto.
doing the same thing. Like, yes, Naruto has fight scenes,
but
they're the same.
Let me stop you though.
Fight sequences.
Let me stop you because one, ain't no one standing on no book and say Boruto's the show. That's
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're reusing a lot of the fight sequences, and it doesn't. And if you look into earlier Naruto, they don't have fight scenes either that are that good.
What?
Like
Rock Lee.
That's the only. But
that's the only one.
So look, listen to this. So take the tuning exams.
Okay.
Take it apart. Besides Rock Lee and Gaara, the other fights are trash. Naruto's fight was trash.
I like Shikamaru's fight was good. When he's fighting, I think Tamari. Oh, he's not fighting, or is it?
You're talking about that's post.
Oh,
You're talking about when they go to find Sasuke.
No. I did say Tamari. I meant to say it was Naruto. That one wasn't bad.
That was terrible. Naruto won because he farted in his nose, and then he stole Sasuke's move. Like, it's just not. I don't know. You go to Naruto.
Wait, who did Shikamaru fight?
Oh, you're talking about Shikamaru. I'm tripping. Shikamaru fought.
Was it Tamari? I'm almost positive it was in the
first. No, not in the first round. In the second round.
I just remember
in the second round.
I thought that was a good one. Like, it ain't hand to hand, but like he used technicalities and his abilities. You know what I'm saying?
But Naruto's fight with Neji was sucked.
Say it, man. He broke his nails. Listen, here's the difference, though. Right? We went on a whole tangent, right? And then you compared Boruto for no reason. In my opinion, because no one's standing. The whole point of this is like why reasons.
I'm talking about them reusing fight scenes throughout the whole. The whole show, the entirety of the show. At least at One Piece, they mix up the fights. Everyone has their own fighting style. I mean, you can't tell me that Sanji's fights aren't dope when he's using his legs.
Man, listen.
I'm
just upset that he's already been fighting this dinosaur for so goddamn long. He done kicked him enough times.
It's because he's confused as to why he's letting himself get hit. Like, why am I not taking damage, bro? It's an internal struggle.
Listen. See, you're making me lose my train of thought.
Good. Your train of thought is terrible.
I don't even know why I'm arguing with you, man. We're not going to get anywhere. We're arguing about mid-piece. In general, I'll go back to this, regardless of Naruto. Like, for example, Vinland Saga, right? We have a lot of dry moments. It's a build-up, like you said. But at least in this situation, it's not just them fighting mobs. It's a different situation. It might be dry, it might be slow, but there's building blocks. And it's like, we can look at each individual episode. They're not exactly the same. Yeah, they're doing like some of the same things, but they're working towards a goal. Versus sometimes in One Piece, you're drawing slow stuff is when they're fighting mindless mobs riding on the back of a dragon, a fucking lion horse.
I give you
God.
that. All right, that's the point.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's where, and I
But
understand
that's
you.
the things that okay. But this is how you think about it, right? So if people who like to what we were talking about, I think last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, people they care about the manga, right? So they just watch the animation.
To watch it animated. Yeah, they
Exactly.
want to see it brought to life.
So
Yes.
like to that point, like sometimes, especially your own animes have to drag out because they're still writing the manga. They can't catch up. You have to drag it out because it's year round.
Well,
You
listen.
have to drag it out. So really, like,
I can't.
I get it. I would rather have 24 solid episodes, wait a year. But when you have a show that's that popular, it's gonna go year round. You know, it's part of the big
Hey,
three.
man.
I mean,
Demon Slayer doesn't do it. Attack on Titan doesn't do it. Like you don't. My Hero doesn't do it.
but they're not part of the big three. They're not
Yeah.
but One Piece is one of the last shows that has this the year round thing. Like,
True.
you know, it was Naruto. I don't know if Bleach did it, but
Bleach was part of the.
so
yeah.
Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece. So that's the last show. So
I don't-
why are they gonna change their
I
style
don't think Dragon Ball Z was like that though.
year round?
I don't think it was.
Think
I
so?
don't think it was year round. No, I
That was a long
think-
time ago. So I don't.
think it was
really remember.
seasons.
It was in the 90s.
There's not
It was in the
many
90s, but
anime. The only ones that I can think of is Pokemon and Conan, like OGs that are year round that are still running.
that's what I'm saying. They're OG. So why would, in my mind, I'm like, why would they change up what has already made it successful? You know, it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Listen, this is all I'm saying. We can't pedalize it for its heights without pointing out its lows. I understand what you're saying, but like in that same time frame, even though it's not going anymore, and they did, they took a different route though. Like, yeah,
Sure.
it was year round as well, but they took I think it was a whole year. But when the war started,
Mhm.
there was like almost, I want to say, a year full of fillers almost between the actual fight because they caught up to the manga.
Talking about Bleach?
No, I'm talking about Naruto.
Oh, Naruto. Yeah.
So I think there's ways. It's just the way
You
they're.
would rather like have a whole. Oh,
Yeah, I've told you this.
to
I'd
give it a
rather,
filler
because I'd rather
argument.
have BS. I don't even watch it. Come back to it versus.
And then you
I
can
have
just
to
binge.
come. You have to go to watch One Piece to see those 5 minutes, because you don't want to miss it, and then you might miss
But
some
you
good
don't
stuff.
think 1 year of filler would like
Didn't with
ruin the
Naruto.
numbers?
They didn't with Naruto. They
That's
came
true.
back. So I'm just
That's true.
saying, like, I this is just my opinion. This is why I can't hold it to the high regard, because the highest of highs, it's really good, but the lows is plentiful, and I just, in
You
my
gotta balance it out.
and think about this. But a lot of the reason why people don't want to get into it is, one, they know it's a commitment. Like, you heard the guys say, like, I haven't even started. I'm not gonna
Man,
start.
I've seen One Piece like 4 times. I don't know what y'all talking about. People need to understand, when you like something, you're gonna do it for a long time, and you're not gonna wonder, oh man, I just started playing video games, Modern Warfare, and I went from playing like 30 minutes a day, and I'm like, man, I really like this. And then like I wake up, and I'm like, I used to make fun of the people who would like wake up, or they would realize it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, they got to go to work. But then I'm like, I became not that person to an
But you
extent,
can
like,
understand.
but because I
Play games.
play games, you know, I fell in love with what I was doing, so the time meant nothing. So when people are like, oh, 1,000+ episodes is a lot, yeah, but when you do something like that and you enjoy it, it doesn't feel like 1,000+ episodes.
Hey, well, that's why.
I could crash One Piece in 3 months, bro.
That's a fucking
that's
long
how much that I
time.
enjoy the arcs, the character building, the characters, I enjoy all of it, you know. So for me, it's not tough. If you're telling me like, hey, go read 6 hours, you know, watch 100 hours of Discovery Channel, obviously that's gonna feel terrible for me because I don't enjoy it. But if you watch it and you're like, hey, I like this, I'm gonna choose to watch it, the amount of episodes is not gonna matter. That's what I'm saying.
I hear what you're saying. The problem is just you got so much dead time in between those episodes.
For
They
sure.
stack up.
But
That's
when you're watching,
that what
but
deters
what I
people.
like is the people who haven't watched it, they get to skip all past that. I was watching it week after week after week after week, like it is now.
but
you have now the option with technology of, you know, it's got 1,000 episodes, and you could skip 200 of that, you just shaved off a month.
Yeah, but then you gotta also again, and we're doing that now. Let's say it's a new person, right? And there's some episodes they gotta skip. Unless they do the research to find out what's important, what's not. They're not gonna even think about
I
that.
just feel like you can tell what maybe it's just
Most
my
times, yeah.
experience in anime is like I watch an episode and I'm like, all right, fast forward the last 5 minutes, new info. All right, next episode. Like, but to your point, it might be that experience, and some people might not be in that area of their life when it comes to anime just yet.
But I've slowly realized why One Piece has its hardcore fans. They all say the same thing, man. They put the time in. They ain't wasting their time. And I've said this before in the pod, man. Like, they're coping. The ones that truly say it's the best and they can't see any faults in it, it's just because they invested way too much time and they're not gonna.
I mean, that's also fair. I think, to me, it's like I don't really care about people's reasoning as long as you're watching it. If you watch it, like to your point, you've caught up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have your opinion. You still don't like it. That's fair.
No,
Because you
I
put the
never
time
said.
in.
I never said I didn't like
What
it.
I'm saying is like, I will respect your opinion because you
I
took
at
the
least
time
took
out.
time, yeah.
But people are like, "Oh, One Piece is mid." I've never watched it. The people who 90% of people who don't like One Piece and they haven't watched it, it's because they say it's too long. That's not a valid reason.
Hey,
You're
I
just
ain't gonna
part
lie
of a
to you.
community.
That's kind of a valid reason,
How's that a
man.
valid reason? People,
'Cause-
you know how long Dragon Ball Z is, and people will watch it without hesitation. That is close to the. If you take Dragon Ball Z, and then Dragon Ball GT, and then you add Super, I've seen all of it. That's the same thing. But people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's good," but why? Because you started watching it. And in my
In
opinion,
some
Dragon
aspects,
Ball
yes.
Z, in my opinion, Dragon Ball Z is not good. Dragon Ball Z to me is probably the worst out of the 4 shows, from a storyline.
Nah, he's trying to get
perspective.
us. He's trying to get the podcast canceled, guys. I
Ew.
don't stand on that message. From
That's what we doing now? That's what we doing.
Nah,
so
I-
you don't get me in trouble with controversy, but you ain't gonna stand on it.
Hey,
Think about this.
I agree with you. The storytelling isn't the best, but that's not, in my opinion, for its time, that's not what made
So out
Dragon
of
Ball
the
Z
4, you're
great.
saying One Piece is the worst.
Let's see.
So you got
It
Dragon Ball?
depends. It depends on how we judge it. It'll be between Dragon Ball Z and One Piece for sure. I couldn't definitively say. I'd have to sit here and like think about things, but they say it have some of the same flaws, and like it's hard how we would necessarily judge it. Of like if you're putting Super in there too, it can change things up because the pacing was terrible
In Super.
on no. Super is not that bad. The old school Dragon Ball Z, I didn't even watch Dragon Ball. So
Oh, you're tripping. Dragon Ball, in my opinion, is the best out of all of them because it was before Super Saiyan. Before it was just martial arts. Very like.
yeah,
It
he
was
just
a
used.
fun-
I remember. I know bits and pieces, and I know like
Krillin was actually the goat there. You know what I'm saying?
Goku. Kamehameha wasn't as common. Like he'd have to really
Yeah,
get
try.
somewhere to pull that out. But
Yeah, that was a cool show too. But like, that's what I'm saying. And I was gonna rank it, but I'm gonna wait until I finish Bleach. I'll give my top 4
well,
in
let's
order.
just hear before now. I want to hear
Well, I'd have to put Bleach
fourth.
fourth because I haven't seen it. Then it would probably be
Yes, I know.
Bleach,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z,
Oh,
and
okay.
then
Oh,
it's tough because like, as much as I enjoy One Piece,
look at his eyes, ladies and gentlemen. He's all over the place.
no, as much as I love One Piece, like don't get me wrong, I like the show, I watch it. The way that Naruto has impacted my life is it's immeasurable, I guess you could say. Because when I was growing up, I went through a lot of hard times and I went through
Hard.
personal things, and there were certain parts in my life, even when I was 21, 22, I'm almost 29 now. I had dark periods
Sexy
in my
no
life.
jutsu.
I had dark periods in my life, and that's one of those things that really brought me out is teaching you how to deal with that kind of stuff. And that talk no jutsu, man, got me. I wanted to be a villain, and he brought me to the light. So that, to me, Naruto's always got to be my number one.
Hey man, I'm happy to hear that from you, man.
Sorry, One Piece fans. I
Podcast-
always ride with y'all, but
The podcast continues.
he almost fired me, bro.
Nah, it's good to hear that opinion. I think once you catch up to Bleach, it's arguable. I mean,
And like I said, that might change. That might
it's-
might be a 2, might be a 3, might be a 1.
based
But
just knowing you, and when you catch up, You're gonna say Bleach is better than not Naruto,
In One Piece.
than One Piece.
It might be. You know, like I said, I'm not gonna go one way or the other just because I haven't watched it. Like I said, it has been tough for me to get into it. I've tried a couple times, but I was newer into anime, and One Piece was at that time the longest running anime that I had watched. So maybe maybe my mindset is different, and maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit more. But y'all definitely tune in with that. I'll keep y'all updated on a week-to-week basis on my episode count and what's going on and how I'm rating it so far.
Let me ask you a question. So, if you had to pick which is like the toughest entrance to any of those animes, like the hero came on the scene, which one out of all the animes we just mentioned, who has it?
Who has the best
Like the
interest scene?
toughest, like stepping on the scene, like we need you, and they're like, bam. One famous one comes to mind, but I'll let you answer.
Man, all that keeps coming to mind is Naruto when he came back from
Pain?
Sage Mountain and he comes up.
Hey.
Sakura has the best summoning jutsu, bro. She has Naruto no jutsu, bro. She screams that man's name and he is there.
Came up with the toes
Like,
posted up.
It was dope because then like right after one of the Pains was gonna attack the fifth Hokage and he's just like wow, but it just shows out of nowhere. And I was like, that's too cold, man. Like that's probably one of my favorite like entrances.
Sequences,
Yeah,
yeah.
sequences in the entrance.
Nah, 100%. That's what I want to do a TikTok on this, but I'd have to gather some info because I'd look at a lot of scenes, but every time I've seen a clip of that, and every time I just smile. I was like, because I remember watching that, I was,
It was
like,
good, it was
yo,
good.
this is tough.
That was the
He was
the
posted up.
goosebumps.
He was like here, and then like all the toes are with him too.
That was
Man,
clean.
That was a fire intro, but
Kakashi also has a lot of entrances too, though. And what's crazy is Naruto has a lot of great entrances. Like I think it was Kakashi that saved. He saved Choji when Pain came.
I
And, like,
think, yeah,
and then he
yeah.
like snapped the thing, and then he like pretended to kick him, but it was like an after image, and he's just, oh, bro, Kakashi's
Yeah.
the goat. He's my goat, bro.
Hey, man, shout out to Naruto, man. All right, so we went on a huge,
Yeah, we went on a tangent there.
huge
But that's what this is for, man.
Yeah.
We just turn the camera on and freestyle. Whatever happens, happens.
So some good, some bad. You know, some people say Dragon Ball Z is the worst. All
I
right.
stand on that, baby. I stand on it. GT was the best one.
Oh, he's just trying to incite violence.
Nah. You didn't like GT, bro?
I didn't
GT was
watch
good.
it.
GT was good. It was like
I know
outer
Dragon Ball.
space. It
That's
was like
that's Super Saiyan 4, right? With
yeah.
or
A lot of
long.
people hated
Oh
on
wait,
it,
is
but
is the long hair GT or no? Not the monkey form.
so it's long black hair with like
Not
with
not
red
that
fur.
one. So Super Saiyan 3 was
Super
canon?
Saiyan 3 was Super Saiyan 3 was the Buu saga.
I didn't know that was canon. I thought that was
Nope,
GT.
that was canon.
Okay.
Yeah, so when Vegeta and Goku were fighting, and Vegeta was like, "Oh, I finally beat Goku," and then he goes to fight Buu, and he's like, "What the hell? You had Super Saiyan 3 the whole time?" That was canon. That was
Okay.
dope though. That was a dope scene.
Okay. I remember
It was also in
different.
Super too.
Huh?
It was also in Super.
3?
Super Saiyan 3 was in Super.
I
When he
remember
first,
them
when
showing.
he first fought Beerus, and he showed up to
He does 3? Hmm.
because he goes, "Oh, this is Super Saiyan 2," and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna give it," and then he starts Super Saiyan 3, and Beerus was like, "That's
Alright,
it,"
man.
and then he gets
Yeah.
washed like 10 seconds later.
And I just while we're talking about this, I'm gonna jump back to like entrances in a way. I think the next biggest one that I can think that comes off my top of my head is like when Gon turns into his. That was in my opinion, that was a tough scene
That's crazy.
because I like when everything goes black and then you see his eyes just white and it was just
Yeah,
that's another one that comes to mind. But I'm gonna have to make a TikTok on that. But
that'd be pretty cool.
moving on, talking about some more anime. Latest episode of Revenger. That's a really good episode in my
I was
opinion.
gonna say that's probably one of the best episodes they've had
Yeah.
so far.
Especially coming from that last
that
one.
last
man.
one, I
Sheesh.
was hesitant to watch it, and I was kind of like, do I gotta watch this, bro?
Yeah, it got good. In the beginning, I was just like, man, it's kind of.
I feel like it was one of those animes that was a slow start, and now that we're picking up, things are interesting. And I would watch it and be like, okay, cool, on to the next. But now I was like, even
Getting
after
a little
we
bit
watched
more
it, I was like,
invested.
so you think this happened or what's gonna happen? Now we're starting to ask questions. We're starting to get a little bit more in depth in what's really going on, and some of the things that we talked about, like even with the church, we're like, they just seem off, and now they're questioning it. I was like, okay, cool. So it's starting to become like a little mystery thing, and we're discovering different scenarios.
And I'm pretty sure, I want to say we talked about this. I don't know if we didn't necessarily talked about it on the pod, but I had a feeling that, you know, he was gonna end up fighting the Chinese dude, and we knew that one of them, like, we knew our guy wasn't necessarily a villain, but we were like thinking the same thing. Like, he doesn't. I don't think he's really bad, based on like some of the interactions, and then we see this scene. Church is behind us. From what it looks like, the church.
Spoilers if you haven't caught up.
The church is behind. Well, I don't know. That young guy who gave him the gold coins, right?
Are they part of the police though?
I was about to say, yeah. I don't think it was a church. Yeah, I'm about to say. So there's a lot of moving pieces that we have to. And I like that, you know.
And I guess that kind of, I guess you could say confirmed, because when Rizzo was like, why do you, like, if you think that getting people like high off opium is cool, I'm a fool then. And he's like, what you mean? And I was like, yep, he was the good guy. I could have that's gonna be cool. I hope, you know, spoilers up, if y'all haven't seen it, y'all can go ahead and skip this, but I hope he's not dead, because like I think them two could be like their contrast, like, you know, he's like good guy, he's trying to find his way, and they're both strong. I mean, obviously Rizzo got worked the first time, but
he's about to catch their hands the second time.
I'm interested to see what happens, because I hope that they don't, because it seemed like they were gonna make him a integral part in the series, and then just to kill him off like that, I'm like, that's gonna suck, you know? He was cool. He was the only one who was able to beat Rizzo.
Everyone lives. Someone's got to go.
That's true. You know, one thing that I don't like about Revenger though, like, it's Ewan and what's the little boy's name? I always forget his name.
always forget this.
But
he's always about to take him out.
Yeah, he's like, I'll kill him, and I'm like, man, stop playing. He's the MC. Stop playing.
I think that goes into more like why he had that conversation with him. He understands he can live a different path. He can go a different path. He can live a different life. Everyone else is quote unquote monsters. They really this is all the only life they know and can only see themselves living. That's why that he's always looking to kill either Ewan or Rizzo, because it's like, I'm waiting for one of y'all to
slip up.
Y'all flip on the Revenger, gone. That's my type
it's
of
just crazy, because I'm like, you think you could take the MC out, bruh? He's the MC, my guy.
Hey man, we seen MC.
You the side character.
MC's been taken out all the time.
That's true. Shout out, Kame got killed.
Hey man, that was bro. Everybody got worked out. No one was safe.
I forgot who told me to watch that, but I just remember I was pissed off after like.
I watched it, but I don't think I told you to watch it. It might have been you and Baja.
It was good. It's worth the watch. Just have some tissues ready. That's all I say to that.
Hey man, just don't have a favorite character.
Yo, that's facts. Whoever you think you're gonna like the most, just don't do it.
So, yeah, another good episode of Revenger. I like how they kind of unfolding the story. We got left on a cliffhanger, like you said, to see if he lived. And shout out to the guy. My boy had the 6X sniper out there in feudal Japan.
There's not the 1500s, my guy. Man had everything.
Oh man, my man got the super bow. He's got a super sniper.
He did have a super sniper. That was wild. He did not miss.
Hey man, he had the little chair and everything. He was ready. Like, I do this, man. How many gold coins we got?
Yeah, that was quick too.
Line this up real quick. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. Unless you got any?
No, we're good. Just make sure we got that Anime Fan Weekend video coming out.
It should be. I should have it out tomorrow with this by the time of the
Monday,
airing of this
February
podcast.
27th.
So check that out. Obviously, you seen the clip I threw in earlier, but yeah, man, it was a good time. Met some good people, some good and bad, but you know, that's just life in general. We got to move on. So
for sure,
let us know in the comments, guys. Is it subs
or is it dubs?
Yeah, shout out to Dragon Ball Z, man.
And we out. Cut.
So are we going? Okay. Am I looking here? Hello there, this is R. Bruce Elliott. I am the voice actor for about 250 different characters from Funimation and these days from Crunchyroll, including Whitebeard from One Piece, Captain Ginyu from Dragon Ball Z, Tanaka from Black Butler, and let's not forget Dot Pixis from Attack on Titan. And I'm here with the Subs Over Dubs guys, and I am definitely on the dub team.